This case involves a male student at York University, his sociology professor, Dr. Grayson, and the Dean of Arts, Dr. Martin Singer. The case is regarding religious accommodation versus gender discrimination. The student in question requested an exemption from working in person with a group of female students. He said his religion forbid him from doing so. Dr. Grayson was unsure on how to proceed, so he consulted the dean, his department heads, and the Center for Human Rights. He definitely followed the decision-making process. Dr. Grayson was personally leaning towards refusing the request because it discriminated against women. He did not act on this, however, and waited for all of the consultations to come back to him. The dean examined school policies and collaborated with the Center for Human Rights. Based on these policies, the dean wanted to grant the student the accommodation. The dean and Dr. Grayson disagreed. Dr. Grayson went ahead and refused the request. The dean, knowing this, then went over his head and told the student that he could be accommodated. The professor had the final say and ultimately emailed the student back and would not allow the request. The student understood this and proceeded with the assignment. This case represents multiple ethical issues. It represents the issue between the student and the professor in terms of the religious request and the issue of gender discrimination. It involves the professor and the dean not agreeing on this issue, regardless of the policies that were in place. And then it also involves the dynamic of the dean going over the professor's ultimate decision. There was a conflict in leadership, and they had to figure out what was the best answer. Is there a best answer? In conclusion, ultimately, it was the utilitarian theory that is most applicable to this case in all terms, as the professor did not want to cause harm to any more people unnecessarily. He was ultimately looking out for the greater good in terms of all humanity and not just choosing one over the other. He took the university policies into consideration. He took the dean's answer into consideration, but he still felt under the utilitarian theory that refusing the request would be the lesser of any harm to the individuals.